Hello everyone, this is PD. I want to go over Ilya LR Strat in Eden Savage 8 Shiva because this is for the first time in this raid tier or any of my raid tiers that I've done that I've seen such a problem in Party Finder with this mechanic and how inconsistent it is because players aren't doing it properly and players don't realize the timing on things. So I'm really going to go into more depth than in the other videos on what exactly is going on and what you should know if you are doing this mechanic to hopefully improve the success rate of players out there. The objective of this was to improve the success rate of my personal static by sharing with them exactly how to do this. But if it helps you too, that's fantastic. After Shiva does Axe Kick or Scythe Kick for the first time, she'll go into LR after 2 auto attacks, jumping to the center of the stage. And I'll pause it where appropriate. This does AoE damage, so I like to reprisal it as a tank. And this is from a tank perspective. Okay, so this is where I'm going to stop at first. So you'll notice, first off on Ilya LR, 4 players get chains, 4 players do not. This is in Party Finder, by the way, a duty complete party looking for a re-clear. 4 players get changed. They are positioned on 1, 2, 3, and 4, the markers, and it does not matter if there's a bow tie. Bow tie is irrelevant for Ilya LR Strat, so don't worry about the shape of the chains. However they look, it doesn't matter. Just if you're DPS, you go to 3 and 4. This is the typical Party Finder strat on the North American data centers. And if you're a tank, you stand on 1. If you're a healer, you stand on 2. And you don't move until the very end, and we'll talk about that when we get there. I'm not even going to go over chains at first, just ignore them for now. This is going to be from the orb perspective at first. And notice what I'm doing right here. As soon as I realize I don't have a chain, I stand away from any party members and any chain players. Just, I need a clear view of my character, and I'm looking bird's eye view. These are very important things to improve the consistency of your actions in Ilya LR. Very common occurrence is a player runs the wrong way when they get an orb, and we'll talk about running with an orb shortly. So if you don't know the mechanic, we're just going to kind of run through it real quick. But I get an orb, and I run around the orb on the opposite side, wait for 3 seconds, and then I rotate in to the tower here after my orb goes through the center, and then I pull my orb away from my partner so I can break it without it AoEing him, and then anyone with 3 light steep stacks, which is myself, goes in the center to soak the last tower. That is the Ilya LR strat from the orb perspective, but I'm just going to back it up for a bit and talk more about what I did. Okay, so here we are at the start of LR, because orb running is the most difficult because the chain holders stand still. So there's several things you can do to improve consistency here. Okay, like I said, I'm staring straight down, and with this bird's eye view, it's very clear to me what orb I'm tethered to, and I can start moving immediately. It is important that you start moving immediately, and even pop sprint. Notice I have sprint already popped for this moment, because it lets me play greedier, lets me play safer, both at the same time by moving faster. The window of me to do the mechanic properly is bigger because I'm moving faster. So sprint is good here. So I'm looking bird's eye view. I can see clearly what orb I'm tethered to. This helps a lot. And then I can start moving immediately. I get behind the orb, and also notice I went around the left side of the orb. So from the direction I was coming at the orb, I was coming this direction. I went around the left side of the orb. So we'll back that up for a second. I'm looking straight down, run around the left side of the orb. And why is it important to run around the left side? It's important because after this, if you have to soak a tower, you want the orb to be as far on this side as possible so that it doesn't hit you while you're soaking this tower. So to just slightly improve the amount it's moving this onto this side, we go around the left side of the orb so that when we rotate clockwise, it's more over here and we have more leeway in this tower. This is another way to improve consistency. If everyone does this, consistency is improved greatly because it's a lot less chance for anyone to hit an orb. If everyone goes around the left side of an orb, it will be easier. If one person goes around the left and the person across from them goes around the right, it's like two people trying to get past each other on the sidewalk. It doesn't work that way. One person needs to go, they both need to go to each other's left, and you can't pass each other. You can't pass the orbs because the orbs are kind of simulating that movement. You guys can't pass each other as easily if you both go in the same direction to get out of the way of each other. So a good rule of thumb is always go around the orb to the left. If every person in the party knows to do this, it proceeds a lot more smoothly because the orb won't be in your way as much when you're trying to get around it. If it's in your way too much and you have to accommodate for that movement too much, you'll have to take a longer trip around the orb if you don't get hit by it. And if you take a longer trip around the orb, you're more likely to get hit by the protean wave. So we'll show you that here. The path of light's going to finish, and this path of light shoots the protean wave. And if I spent too much time going around that orb, I'd get clipped by that. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, oh, I got clipped. Well, there's a reason you're getting clipped if you're not following these instructions that improve consistency. So these kinds of things will help you avoid those situations. And then another thing to note is that when I am going around the orb, it is a very big hitbox. So I give it a wide berth. You have to give it a wide berth. You have to respect this orb or you will hit it. So just keep that in mind. I throw out a couple ranged attacks here, and I get one auto attack in without rotating to the tower. This is the equivalent. If you're a spellcaster, you can do one spell cast before rotating into a tower, but you want to wait about 1 GCD's length or so, 1.5 GCD's length before you rotate into the tower. It's important that you don't rotate into the tower until the orbs cross through the middle, because if you move too quickly towards the tower, then the orb will hit you while you're in the tower. If you wait too long, if I waited too long to move into the tower, my orb would hit Raziel. So it's important not to wait too long or move too fast. If I move too fast, it hits me. If I move too slow, it hits Raziel. Think about it. If the orb, I'm dragging it this way, down, if I wait too long, it's going to get too far in Raziel and Lumi's direction over here, the people on 3 and 4. And by the time I rotate to the tower over here on my left, it's going to clip Raziel because I let it rotate too far this way. So I do 1 GCD, and then as my orb is in the middle, now it's time to move. Everyone wants their orb to touch the middle. If it's taking shortcuts, it's probably going to hit you or hit someone else. So you want to make it a small goal of yours to see your orb touch the middle. And I feel comfortable being this close to the orbs and getting GCDs in because I'm very familiar with the movement. I came up and I hit 1 GCD on Shiva as my orb was passing through, and I see my orb passing through, or my partner's orb that's going in the opposite direction, and I know mine's not going to be done yet either because ours should be in the same spot. It's not done passing through Shiva. So now I know it's about to pass through Shiva. Now I know it's coming at me, and I got to get out and back up. So when this soak comes down on this tower, it's important to be on the outer edge. Another thing that improves consistency. So I get 1 GCD in, and as it's coming down, I back up to the outer edge here. As soon as this pops, I need to spread the orb away from my partner here, Lala. So Lala should be going over here, and I should be going over here. Raziel moves in a little bit out of the way. Jinx moves in a little bit out of the way. They go towards this line right here. They don't cross it. They don't get too close to it because then when Lumi moves, Lumi's going to move in this way too, closer to this divider line to bait the protean waves away from us with the orbs. And they don't want their protean waves to hit each other. So each person that's here in the tower is making one last movement, the only movement they make after the chains disappear, closer to the divider line away from the people with the orbs, because to bait the protean waves away from them. The only thing they care about after that is avoiding this other person baiting the protean wave. So you'll see that movement right now. Lumi and Raziel moved in. I pulled my arm away from Lala. Lala didn't really do that a little bit. If I didn't compensate for him, this could easily be a problem, and we can clip each other with our AoE explosions. But he's standing at quite the distance, and he may know that he doesn't have 4 LR stacks. Light steeped. Oh, he did. And boom. The last thing you do is pull her north a little bit, if she did axes before LR because she's going to need to be pulled to one of the northern mirrors. North, northeast, northwest is your choice as the tank, but you need to get her to that mirror quick, and pulling her north is going to help do that. If you do it before she casts mirror. Alright, let's go over LR one more time. This one goes wrong here, but I still get to the very end and I can show you how to do it. As an orb runner again, looking straight down so I can get a vision of my tether, run around the left side. You'll notice here, this orb is pushing to my left, so this is making my berth around this orb to the left a lot harder. So someone's not running properly around the orb. Someone's not in position right now. So this could easily be why this run went wrong. So we'll turn around, and sure enough, my partner on the opposite side gets clipped. You can see this damage numbers right here. He got clipped by the Protean wave because he was out of position. He didn't run properly around the orb as I did. No discredit to him. This is a clear party. My players are fine. But all I'm trying to do is improve the consistency, not bash people. So I just want to clarify that. And there you see someone hit an orb. I believe if we watch this clearly, the player whose orb I ran around just hit Jinx here because he didn't run his orb properly. So this could be a number of problems. He didn't run around the left side of the orb. And as you can see, I'm already in the tower here waiting to soak, and he's not in that tower yet, which means he's pulling the orb more in this direction, whereas I'm pulling it more towards the tower. He's pulling it even more towards the person on 3 here, Jinx. So that's why his orb hit Jinx. He waited too long to rotate to the tower. And these are very small things. I'm trying to explain it to you this way because these are very small things. Things go wrong in LR and it's not clear what happened. So it's very hard to improve this mechanic if you're not aware of all these things. Let's look at this one more time from the chain holder's perspective. So I'm a tank and I have chain, so I'm going to move to the 1 here. And I have a lot of time. I need to move to there by the time the soak tower drops on the spot. And now I need to be still. So I'm just going to wait here. And then the soak tower popped over to my left. So a split second later, the chain debuff runs out. And it's freedom of movement. So I'm going to move towards this divider line to the opposite of the soak tower to bait the Protean wave away so they have more room to split. And then 3s get in. The last soak tower. When you are baiting the Protean wave, I recommend being closer than max melee because some people pop the orb rather early and try to move in early to do some damage to the boss, and you don't want them to get hit by a Protean wave. So to be closer than max melee and let those melee DPS try and hit the boss, or not be punished for getting greedy and trying to hit the boss early, is something that you would want to do. As an orb holder, I wouldn't recommend doing this yourself unless you're in a static group and you could be confident you weren't going to bait a Protean wave at max melee. But as a chain holder, I would recommend that you don't make yourself the source of a problem and move in just a tad close to the target circle without being in the soak tower, ideally, because maybe you don't know if you're going to be at 3 light steep stacks at the end of the mechanics. Notice I just took a small step forward. I think you can take a little bit more forward there. But if I back it up here, Naughty wasn't very close when he popped his orb. He didn't pop it very early, but some players will do that. They will pop it early. They will move in. They will try and get attacks in soon. They will play greedier like that, and it helps to be closer than them so that they don't bait the Protean wave because it goes to the 4 closest party members, the Protean wave. Thanks for watching, guys. That's basically everything on LR. If this video helped you, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more content from me in the future, a subscribe would help. If you have any more comments on Ilya LR, any more advice on this fight in general, feel free to leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.